welcome to our 8th Net Circle Tower Defense devlog. So today we're going to be talking about the actual towers themselves and a little bit about how they function. So everything's going to be magical in this, even the quote-unquote physical ones are magic. So each tower consists of 4 basic parts. So we have the base here in white, the array in blue, the focus in green, and the core in orange. So they all have different functions. Obviously the base is the general structure. The array is what helps to gather the magical energy. The core determines what type of energy it will end up being, and the focus sort of just how it comes out. So whether it's going to be a beam or a blast or a burst or, any of those sorts of things. So the goal here is to have lots of different ways to upgrade your towers and lots of different ways for you to play the way that you want to play. Hopefully this will help to eliminate cookie cutters a little bit, although with lots of different options. But you've got to keep in mind what we go through today. There's still plenty of time for it to change. I want to have more than what I've set out here, but for now this is where we're starting. So each different part can have a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary upgrade. So let's say, a primary upgrade might increase something by 4, secondary by 2, the tertiary by 1. So a little bit in terms of diminishing returns, but also, you pick your primary, so what you want to focus on, and then you can sort of build around that. Whether you want to put all 3 into the same thing and upgrade the same thing 3 times, that would also work, depending on what you're trying to do with the particular tower. So a base upgrade, at the moment, increase the tower height, which would affect the range. So when you increase that, your tower is taller, can see further, go more range. Reinforce the base. So as a little example here, that's my little Boolean toggle. Maybe you add some little things to the foundation, and that's going to increase the stability, the structure of it, and allow you to fire it with more force. So your projectiles will come out faster, they'll have more impact, pierce, and they'll travel in a straight line pretty much, or hit their targets more quickly. And then arcane grounding, I don't have an example prepared for it. We might be able to add one in reasonably quickly. Let's file, append. I'm working on this other project at the moment a little bit. Append nodes. Where's our nodes? Scene, node tree. It's all starlight stuff. Curve to chain. Let's append that in. Let's create a curve. Where's here? Geometry nodes. A little bit of a hack job, but it'll do. So be something like this, obviously prettier. But anyway, so arcane grounding would sort of allow excess energy to dissipate into the ground, allowing it to start charging faster for the next shot, so increasing fire rate. And then as a player, you get to choose what you want to focus on. So you might focus entirely on fire rate and get a bit of a machine gun effect, or you might focus on force and get something that can pierce through multiple enemies. Anyway, between all of these, and that's just the base, and then so your core will affect basically how much raw damage it does, what elemental type and level. This one's an interesting one, I'll circle back to it in a second. and then the intensity, so how effective that element is. So if you were shooting fire, for example, the higher the intensity, the faster their temperature go up, the more likely they would be to catch fire or ignite, that sort of thing. Whereas increasing your elemental type or level would have a similar sort of effect in some ways, but that's how you'll get more interesting towers. So let's say you were to have a fire and a ground type together, you might be able to make a bit of a molten sort of lava effect between the two. But that would require you to upgrade your resonance. So that is how you would diversify your towers. But if you were to, increase just straight in the same element, so it'd be like going from like a fire to a blaze to inferno. It increases its intensity in a similar sort of way to what intensity does, but it changes the effects a little bit more, rather than just a straight stat boost. So there'll be a lot of balancing to do around that, but we'll figure it out. Focus, we'll come back to that as the last one. And the array, its potential upgrades might be fire rate, raw magic by drawing in more, overcharging, I suppose, and then the purity of the energy it has, so how clean it is, how precise. That would also be another elemental magnitude. So as you can see, there's a few things that come across a few different places. So you can get fire rate from the array, you can get it from the base, so you can really stack these things up. So hopefully this will create a variety, but more than that, it means that you can have two towers of the same type that essentially perform different functions. So, one tower you might have for thinning out the herd at the start, and another tower a little bit later on you might have for taking care of bosses. And that might all be within, say, the fire specialization, or that's an elemental type. Anyway, and the focus, this one's an interesting one, I suppose. It's where you choose the configuration. So whether something comes out as a beam or a stream, or whether it's a single fireball or a burst of smaller fireballs or a bit of a scatter shotgun effect. All of that will be depending on how you upgrade your array. And it will also have other upgrades for like velocity, count the number of projectiles, or the raw force of them. Between all of it, the goal again is variety. So you might find a really interesting way to adjust a particular tower to suit your needs. And hopefully that means that everyone will be able to find something that works for them. Just messing around with some chains in and get a bit more of an idea of how it might feel. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for bases or tower upgrades. That's the basic system that we're working with at the moment. Ideally, I would like to have more than just 3 options, potentially 5 for each, and maybe rework the way that you level up the base, well, not the base itself, but the actual tower, or choosing the tower type. I'm not sure it will come from the core itself. Potentially, that will be adjusted as we go along. We'll see how we go. That's the general gist of how we want it to function. Basically, to give as much variety as we possibly can have. That's sort of where we're at the moment. Still working on getting all of these foundational works done so that we can start implementing them all into Unreal. So we've got all the pretty effects happening. But we're working on getting our first lot of monsters done, and then we will be working on getting the first official tower done with all of its upgrades, so that we can get right into having a fully functional first level before our Kickstarter kicks off. Anyway, we are still aiming for weekly updates, although we seem down to have a big think about what content I'm putting out and on what sort of schedule to make sure that I am spending as much time actually producing things as I can. So we may have to revisit that. It might not be weekly, but we want them to be meaningful and for you to know that we are continually working on, and you can see regular progress. That is half the point of these. The other half is just to get you guys on board with the process and keep you up to date and get you excited about the project as it's going on. And you can see where it starts from and its humble beginnings to what will be hopefully a super cool finished product. That will be super fun for people to play. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for chilling with us while we went through this, and we look forward to the next one.